All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great minister who rule well, and Shalom to you sincere, hopeful elect brothers and sisters, listening and learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth. This is Brother Nathan coming out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a quick one through the spirit. This is about a video about Palantir, and he's about to go into what they're involved in and stuff. So we're gonna hit this video real quick, then get a couple precepts and close us out.
Palantir, can you explain what this is a little bit?
Palantir is a CIA cutout. So in 2001, after 9/11, they created this it's basically artificial intelligence or an algorithm to interpret these vast amounts of data. The intelligence community takes all this massive amounts of data, emails, phone calls, text messages. Palantir interprets all of it into insights that are usable by law enforcement. And so in 2001, after 9/11, they took what was a CIA program and they just effectively privatized it to bypass the Constitution. You know, Constitution protects people's privacy, but a private company doesn't have to play by the same rules.
So 2001, you're saying that the CIA was spying on people and collecting all this data, and then to get around public oversight, they sort of transferred this into a private company?
Right. So Palantir is a firm that creates usable insights based on vast amounts of data. It's a private entity to circumvent the Constitution. They're founded in 2001. Until 2008, they only worked for the CIA. And the CIA actually provided the startup money through their venture capital arm, In-Q-Tel. So they provided all the money for it, and they created all the products. So Peter Thiel, Alex Carr, Joe Lonsdale, they were at Langley, Virginia at the CIA headquarters making everything for the CIA as a so-called contractor. And then after that, they branched out into everything. So they identified the Capitol rioters on January 6th. They were identifying who wasn't vaccinated in 2021.
What were they doing with people that weren't vaccinated?
Just to identify contact tracing who had COVID and who was spreading it to everybody using Bluetooth, and then identifying then who wasn't vaccinated for the purpose of these vaccine passports. You know, in states like New York or in New York City, they wouldn't let people into restaurants if they didn't have the vaccine. So this was going to be like, they wanted to identify everybody that didn't have the card.
Yeah.
Using Bluetooth, you said?
That's for identifying who has COVID.
Interesting.
Because if you got COVID and you tested positive, they would look at your phone, and your phone has Bluetooth, and they'd see all the other phones that touched it. So they can identify everybody that might have COVID. That's the contact tracing. It's basically just like what Ted Kaczynski warned about. This is the classic panopticon surveillance state. And so Palantir was founded by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel funds all the new right projects. You know, in 2022, he was the single largest individual donor in the cycle. So he put $30 million behind J.D. Vance, Blake Masters.
Why does he look greasy?
Well, he's a gay man. I think that has a lot to do with it. So,
there's a certain amount of grease that comes along with the.
Yeah, so y'all see it, man. This devil, man. Hey, like it says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, let Satan get his advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, so us in the know, we understand these tech companies, you know, because Palantir is one of those ones that just got military contracts, which they've been working with the government, you know. All these tech companies, you know, like I said, that's how they get around, you know, not having to follow the Constitution, you know, by using these privatized companies to you know, and the government give these contracts to them to do what they need to do, you know, but to get the same results, all right, so. And then all this is, like I said, that's why all these companies are put together, what, for the MOT to the B. All right, you see how they're been tracking and tracing for a long time, anyways. All right, so they got you in categories. These algorithms got you in categories, especially the men of the Lord. They're preaching, teaching this word. All right, they got us in the category. You know, they're getting ready to call us terrorists. You know, because they just did Antifa just got considered. And they're supposed to be an anti-fascist group, right? Now they're considered a terrorist, and their people have been scattered. I guess their leadership or whatever. They're on the run supposedly. All right, but hey, they're gonna come for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, whether you believe or you don't. All right, see that's the thing. See the devil, Esau, even so-called white man, he knows who we are as a people. So you're gonna get persecuted regardless. All right. Like I said, hey, this is just leading up to the MOT to the B. Let's get that. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." And you go to that word mark. Let's get it real quick. You got the word charagma, Greek word charagma, which means what? It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. The Strong's, it says a scratch or an etching, i.e. stamp, as a badge of servitude, right? Because that's ultimately what it is. It's a badge of servitude. Because you're going to serve the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai. You're going to serve Esau, even so-called white man, the God of this world, which is what deceived the minds. And that's what's happening. See, because Yahweh Shem Shai, he say, "I will choose your delusions." All right. And like I said, they're starting to do great wonders with this technology, like Elon Musk and the Neuralink. People can start to move their limbs again, and people that control computers with their mind, to do their different tasks. So people are restoring the hearing, restoring blind people that were blind to see. So they're performing these quote unquote miracles. All right, so people are gonna eat it up and fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. All right, but the ultimate thing is to have complete control over you. All right. You see the root word of charagma is charax, right? This is a pale or stake, a palisade. All right. This is that's the device that you would use to insert the MOT to the B. All right, which is the RFID micro C-hip, for you to understand that potato chip. Okay. Let's continue. So it's a physical mark, all right, because it's not like the one in Ezekiel 9, which is that mark is it's like it's I'll get back to it. This is verse 18. It says, Here is Thawa, yes, the Thawa, all right? That's the mark of exemption that you see in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. All right? That's a spiritual mark, okay? And that's going to be for the elect. All right, they're going to have the Thawa, the mark of exemption, okay? But this one's a physical, all right? It ain't sleeping with white women. It ain't an embargo. It ain't it ain't Jesus Christ. All right, it ain't Christianity. No, it's a physical insertion. Okay. With a hand on your forehead, your left butt cheek, whatever the case may be, it's gonna be physically in you. Verse 18. It says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beasts, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Right. So when you go into 666, all right, 603 score 6, it's Chi Sty Stigma. Chi Chi Stigma, right? And you go into stigma, all right. Let's go into stigma. Stigma says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And there are even some devotees who stamped themselves in the way of the tokens of their gods. Yep, see? It's a physical mark. You can't get around it. All right? It's going to be the RFID chip. And it's these companies like Palantir, you know, that are helping along with this programs. Okay, Microsoft, you know, Apple, they're all involved. NVIDIA, you know, the chip manufacturers, you know, and now you got these big data centers. All right, why do you think they're setting those up for? Why do you think they're setting up smart cities? Well, they call it the Internet of Things. You know, everything's connected to the internet. Your refrigerator, microwave, and the next is gonna be you. Okay, and they got a small version of it. What, via the smartwatches? You know, that are attached to you, telling you, hey, if you slept well, your heartbeat, you know, healthcare issues. You know, they got a, you know, can check your heart. You know, these are things that they're moving towards. All right. Look at the Strongs too. So it says to stick, i.e., prick, a marking sized or punched for recognition of ownership. See? All right. So hey, that's what we're coming into. All right. The devil, man, he's gonna deceive. He's gonna deceive 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And of course, these heathen, they're gonna fall for it. You know, from the celebrities, and they're gonna use the celebrities to push it. All right, they're gonna use these influencers, these TikTokers, you know, YouTubers. They're gonna have all your favorite people. They already got a top guy named Mr. Beast. You know, so. But I didn't want to be too long on this.